Look how long my plait is. Like, what is this? What is this? Look at this bad boy. I could whip you with this. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can all probably tell by the title of this video, today I'm going to be answering your bisexuality questions. I get so many messages from you guys, like I couldn't even explain the amount of messages I get asking me to talk more about bisexuality and being bisexual and my experience with it, and just to talk more on the subject in general. And it is something I've been meaning to do for a really long time now, so I thought I'd just sit down and do a whole video all about bisexuality and answering any questions you guys have, and we can have a little chat about the topic and yeah, all that great stuff. So guys, before we dive into the video, please don't forget to give a big thumbs up if you enjoy, and give a big thumbs up if you would like me to do more videos talking about bisexuality. And don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and turn on the little bell beside the subscribe button as well, so you get notified when I upload, because YouTube has become so bad lately for videos going into subscription boxes and stuff. So if you do want to be notified and know when I upload, do hit the little bell, because that is the only way you can be sure to know when I upload. So I asked you guys to send me questions on Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat. My social media links are always down in the description box for you guys. So yeah, I have a lot of questions here on my phone, so I'm just going to dive right on into this and get started. Okay, so the first question that I'm going to answer, I was asked it so many times, like most of you guys that sent in a question also asked me this, so I am going to address this firstly. So in a nutshell, a lot of you guys asked me how I came out, and my coming out story is very different to most people's coming out stories, because I never actually came out, if that makes sense. Like I never had a big like coming out situation, if you get what I mean. I know when most people come out, they kind of have a big story to tell about it, like, you know, sitting your parents and your friends down, or kind of like doing it a bit more formally, but I never kind of done anything like that. I came out in a very natural way. So firstly, I'm going to tell you guys the story about how I came out to my sister. So basically, we were just having a conversation one day. We were just shopping in Dublin. It was before we were about to go away on some trip, and she was just telling me about some girl she was dating or something like that. And then I just threw in that, like, you know, I had been with a couple of girls, like I'd been intimate with a couple of girls, and she was just like, what? Like, she was like, what, Jessica? Like, you know, like she had no idea. So with my sister, I kind of just threw it in conversation. Like I never said, you know, I'm bisexual. I just kind of threw in that I had been intimate with girls, and yeah, then she asked me, was I bisexual? And I was like, yeah. So that was how I came out to my sister. So I done it in a very like casual way. I didn't make a big deal out of it at all, because I've never seen my sexuality as being a big deal. I've always kind of seen my sexuality as, this is who I am, it's no big deal, I'm attracted to both genders, and what about it? Like I've always just viewed it as that way, so I've never viewed it as being a big deal. And then coming out to my parents, so a lot of you guys were also asking me how I came out to my parents, and again, I never like properly came out or anything. With my mom, I remember I told my mom first. We were just sat down one day talking, like chatting about things, and I think I just slipped it into conversation again. I just like threw in that I had been intimate with a couple of girls and that I identify as being bisexual. She was so supportive, like she didn't like say anything, she didn't even like really react, if you know what I mean. She just like accepted that that's what I was telling her, that is who I am, and she was absolutely fine with it. Like she didn't like, you know, get upset, or like, you know, the way I hear stories of people whose parents like start bawling crying, or you know, things like that. She wasn't like that. And then with my dad, I don't properly remember. Again, with my dad it was a lot more casual, so I don't think I ever actually like turned around and was like, I'm bisexual. It was more in a way like we'd be eating dinner and we'd be having conversations, and like I'd throw in little things like that I would date a girl if I had the opportunity, and that I would love to have the experience of having a girlfriend, and just little things like that. But I was doing it quite often. And then I remember one day, like he asked me something like, do I think I'd ever like properly go out with a girl? And I was like, yeah, definitely. And I think then that was when I threw it in. I think I like might have said then that I'm bisexual, but I done it in a very casual way again. So I didn't like sit them down and make a big ordeal out of it, if you know what I mean. A lot of you guys were asking me, how did I come out to my friends? Because a lot of you guys are saying that you don't know how to come out to your friends, and that you think that they might judge you, or you think they might act differently around you, or that you think that they will think you're attracted to them, if you know what I mean. So when I came out to my friends. Majority of my friends I didn't actually come out to. There was only one, maybe two that I came out to, and I just said to them that like I'd been intimate with a girl, and that was kind of how I came out to them. Like I never turned around and was like, I'm bisexual. I kind of just like slipped it in again, and then they asked me like, oh, like am I bisexual? And I was like, yeah. And then with the rest of my friends I didn't tell them, and some of my friends I didn't know how to tell, because like you guys, I thought, you know, they mightn't be as comfortable around me, like they might think you fancy them and stuff like that, etc. So how like the rest of my friends found out was when I uploaded that video to YouTube called My Sexuality, and I think a couple of them watched that, and then I remembered them asking me, being like, are you bisexual? Like, and I was like, yeah. So that was like kind of how the rest of them found out. I kind of just let them find out for themselves, because I didn't know like how to directly tell them in person or like to their face, if you know what I mean. Okay, so somebody asked me, were you ever in the questioning stage, and if so, how long for, and how did you figure it all out? Yes, I was in the questioning stage for years, like years, I mean years. So ever since I was younger, like I've always had crushes on girls, I've always fancied girls, I've always found girls attractive and stuff like that, but I never thought more into it. I remember like when I was a young teenager thinking maybe I was just bi-curious, so yeah, I didn't really think into it that much. But as I got a little bit older into my teens, I kind of found myself thinking about it a bit more, and wondering like, was I bisexual, was I gay? I kind of always knew I wasn't gay because I was very attracted to men, so that was like ruled out of the picture. But then I was like, am I bisexual? Am I just bi-curious? Am I straight? Is this just a phase I'm having? You know, am I just going through a bit of a phase in my teenage years? And when I figured it all out was when I was first intimate with a girl. After I was first intimate with a girl, I remembered then thinking, and then I was really starting to think deeply into it, and I kind of realised that I enjoyed that experience a lot more than I would have if I was straight. You know what I mean? Like if I was straight, I would have found that experience very uncomfortable, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it. But I did really enjoy being intimate with a girl, and I found it very fulfilling and stuff. So after I was first intimate with a girl was kind of when I realised that it was more than being bi-curious. I was kind of like, okay, this is more than just being curious about the other gender. This is a lot deeper than that. I definitely do have a strong attraction and like feel against like females and stuff like that. So I think it was definitely after I was first intimate with a girl that I really did figure it all out. The second time I was intimate with a girl, it even kind of clarified it for me more, because I was kind of like, after the first time, maybe that was just like, you know, me experimenting. But then after the second time I was intimate with a girl, I was like, no, I was like, this is definitely not just experimenting. I was like, no, I definitely am bisexual. I did enjoy that. And yeah, you know what I mean? So that was kind of how I figured it out. It took me years, like it was a really long process, but I finally got there, and yeah. Okay, so somebody asked me, how do you respond to stereotypes like cheating, more threesomes, etc.? Girl, do not get me started on this. This is what frustrates me the most about the whole bisexuality thing. Okay, so on this topic, I've actually had a guy say to me, do you want to know what a guy has actually said to me before? He has actually said, I could never go out with someone who was bisexual. Why? Why is that? Like, please elaborate. Because, like, there's just too many people to worry about then. What? I give up. Like, what is the world coming to? Because I don't know. I don't bloody know. One of the most popular things people like to say about people who are bisexual, or to people who are bisexual, or just about the whole bisexual community in general, is that you're so much more likely to cheat if you're bisexual. Like, since when? Like, really, when? Like, did you actually go out and do a survey, and did that survey come back and show you, like with proof, scientific studies done, that bisexuals are more likely to cheat? Because if you haven't done that, how can you say that? Like, I hate that. That does my head in, right? I do see where people are coming from when they say that, because you're attracted to both genders, right? But I don't understand it under this aspect, right? Just say you have a man, okay? And there are 10 women in front of him, and he is attracted to 8 out of them 10 women, okay? And then just say you have a bisexual girl, right? And there's 10 people in front of her, a mixture of men and women, and she is also attracted to 8 out of them 10 people, okay? So now we have a man who's straight, and we have a woman who's bisexual. but they're both still attracted to the same amount of people out of them 10, okay? So that's my kind of logic. Yeah, I understand that there's more people because you're attracted to two genders, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, because it doesn't mean you're going to be attracted to every female and every male you come across. Just like a straight man isn't going to be attracted to every single female he meets. You know what I mean? It's the exact same logic that applies for someone who's bisexual. So it doesn't mean that they have more to choose from. They can be attracted to the same amount of people as the straight man. It doesn't make any odds. The straight man could be attracted to way more women than the bisexual girl is. The bisexual girl might only be attracted to just say 10 people. The straight man might be attracted to 50 odd women. You know what I mean? There is absolutely no logic behind that phrase. Like, you're more likely to cheat if you're bisexual. It makes no sense. I hope what I've just said makes sense, but it's just, so frustrating. Like, it actually does my head in. And the whole threesome thing again is like, you know, if you're with someone who's bisexual, like, they're just gonna want to have threesomes all the time. No, because like, just because you're bisexual doesn't mean that you want to like be intimate with two people at the same time. That mightn't be your thing at all. Like, you know, a lot of people are into like threesomes and being with more than one person at once. So just because you're bisexual doesn't mean you're going to have more of a preference towards threesomes. Like, you know, there's probably a lot more straight people who like having threesomes than bisexual people. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're more interested in threesomes if you're bisexual. Oh, this is getting like deep and touchy and whew. Woo! Okay, so somebody asked me what have been your experiences with both sex. Okay, so my experiences with girls is I've never had a girlfriend. I've never properly dated a girl. I've only ever been intimate with a couple of girls. And the main reason why I haven't properly dated a girl is because I've never had a chance. As I've said before, I live in Ireland and there are very few bisexual or gay girls who are open about it, who I'm attracted to and they're attracted to me. Like, the percentage is literally 0.001 or something. Like, there are such few girls in Ireland that are openly bisexual or gay, so I have never had a proper chance to date a girl. I definitely would if I had the opportunity, but that opportunity has not presented itself yet, so maybe sometime in the future I will get to experience that. But yeah, it's not something I have had the opportunity to do. And my experiences with boys are, I have had 2 long-term relationships. I was with one fella for 2.5 years and I was with the other guy for over a year, and I have dated my fair few share of like boys or men or males or whatever you want to call them. So I have had a lot more experience with boys or men or males than I have with girls, because there are a lot more guys in Ireland that I am attracted to and they are attracted to me, so I find it a lot more easier to meet guys than I do to meet girls. But I know a lot of girls have this issue as well. Like, a lot of girls feel the same way as me and have had the same, you know, experience, especially living in Ireland. So I find it a lot easier to like meet guys, you know what I mean? So somebody asked me, have you ever been intimate with a girl? I kind of feel like I can't know for sure until I have, but the opportunity has never really presented itself. So I have, as I said, but I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit on the other part of your message. So I would say, okay, so when I was in the questioning stage for years before I actually realised I was bisexual, and I kind of thought maybe I was more bi-curious, I remember like finding myself thinking about being intimate with a girl a lot, like imagining what that would be like a lot. And I always imagined it would be a lot different than it actually is. So I would say that that is something, you know, to be aware of, because you can often think you might like something, but then when you actually experience it, you might be like, no, like definitely not. So I think that was one of the reasons why I kind of did properly decide after I had been intimate with a girl, because I feel like a lot of people kind of think they might like something, but then actually doing that is a whole different ball game, you know what I mean? But something I would also say is there are a lot of gay men who have never been intimate with a man, but they would still class themselves as gay, and that is completely, absolutely 100% fine. Whatever you want to identify as and whatever you feel in yourself is your true identity, you stick with that and don't let anybody tell you differently. Even if you have haven't been intimate with a girl, if you haven't had a relationship, you know your own mind and body so much better than anybody else does. And if you're so sure about something, you stick with that. Like, don't let anybody question you or anything like that. But for me, I had to actually have the experience before I could label myself as that, because I kind of thought maybe I wouldn't enjoy it as much as I would in my head, if you know what I mean. Okay, so somebody asked me, my mum and dad don't really understand bisexuality. They think there's only gay or straight. How do I get them to understand it more without thinking I'm just greedy? Okay, so I really relate to this question, and I completely feel you on this question. Like, I feel you so much, right? So I get where you're coming from, because my dad was exactly like that. Only a few weeks ago, like literally a couple, 1 or 2 weeks ago, we were sat down, we were talking, and like it came up like about being bisexual and stuff like that. He actually made the point to me. He said, how can you be bisexual if you've never had a relationship with a girl? This is what we're dealing with. Like, this is what we're dealing with. Okay, that is the exact same thing as me turning around to a straight man. So just say you are a straight man and I go, how can you be straight if you've never had a relationship with a woman? Like, of course he can still be straight. He's straight. He's attracted to women. He's intimate with women. He likes women. He's straight. The exact same thing identifies with being bisexual, you know? It doesn't mean you have to have had a relationship with that gender to actually identify as that label. I feel like it has a lot to do with like the older generation. The older generation just doesn't seem to understand that there can be such thing as being bisexual. My dad seems to be under like the same kind of thought process that there's only gay or straight, and I was trying to explain to him, and I kind of ended up getting very frustrated and leaving the room, because I just couldn't, like, how can you explain something, you know, if someone doesn't understand? So yeah, I feel like it just has a lot to do with the difference in generations. Like, back in their day, things were so different, and there was no such thing as any of these labels that exist now, like bisexual, pansexual, demisexual, like so many labels that didn't exist back in their day. All they ever knew was gay or straight. So them trying to adapt to new things like this is very difficult, and I suppose we do have to kind of respect that. But then again, I feel like they need to respect how we feel and what we identify as, and even if they don't understand it, try to understand instead of just bashing us and saying there can't be, like, you know, it's like that black or white. It's like, no, you know, there is a middle, like there is an in-between. I don't have an answer of how to get them to understand, but I do think trying to explain to them more. So maybe give that example that I just gave you about someone who's straight or someone who's gay. Like, I know so many gay men who have never had a relationship or been intimate with a man, but they still identify as 110% gay, and no one ever questions them. No one ever questions the straight person who hasn't had a relationship. So why question the bisexual person? Why? So it does my head in. Like, I wish I had an answer for you, but it's just something that we kind of have to deal with. Like, there's just such a difference in generation, you know, just so much has changed between their generation and our generation. So somebody asked me, anyone you still haven't come out to? No, because I do YouTube, so it's kind of plastered all over the internet now that I'm bisexual. I actually had like a really old ex-boyfriend. I wouldn't even call him an ex-boyfriend. We went out for like a month, but like an ex-boyfriend messaged me a couple of days ago when I put up asking you guys to send me questions, and he was like, since when? Like, basically saying, since when are you bisexual? And I was like, since like pretty much ever. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, there's nobody I haven't really come out to. Like, a couple of people do like turn around to me and be like, I never knew you were bisexual or stuff like that, but it is like all over the internet, so I like to assume that everybody knows. So yeah. So somebody asked me, I'm 18 and I've been in a relationship for nearly 3 years now, and I'm completely and utterly happy in it, but I really want to have the experience of getting with a girl and exploring that side of my sexuality. Okay, so honest to God, right, my best advice to you would be to just talk to your boyfriend. So I'm kind of assuming from the way you worded this that your boyfriend doesn't know. So if that is the case, I would honestly just say speak to him, because in my last relationship, I remember like having that conversation and he was absolutely grand with it. Well, so he said. But yeah, I would honestly just have the conversation with him and talk to him about it, because I know a lot of people in relationships where the girl is bisexual, where their boyfriend actually doesn't mind them being with other girls. So I would talk to him and see where the boundaries lie, like if he would ever be okay with you exploring that side of your sexuality, maybe even just once to try it out, or you know what I mean. I would definitely like sit down and have a serious talk with him and like see how he feels about the whole thing and like what his boundaries boundaries are and like what are the like no-go points, if you know what I mean. So it's something you kind of have to talk to him about. You can't really work it out unless you speak to him. So I hope that helps. So somebody said, do any of your friends act differently around you? I'd like to say no, but like I have realised and noticed a couple of times, like a couple of my friends, like whereas before they knew I was bisexual, you know, they just openly change in front of me and stuff like that. Whereas I find now a couple of them will like turn away and like change and stuff like that. Or I've even had like one friend being like, oh, like, you know, I can't like take my top off because, you know, you might like want to like kiss me or something. And I know she said it in a joking way, but I was just like, what the hell? Like, are you actually serious? Like, that's like saying just because a guy is changing in front of me that I'm just going to want to like, oh, I don't know, like this is what annoys me so much about the whole subject of being bisexual. Like, oh, I'm getting really frustrated now. That actually annoys me so much. So yeah, I would like to say they don't, like in the grand scheme of things, act different around me, but I have noticed like a couple of small things like that of when they're getting changed or something, they'll kind of like turn away, whereas before like they wouldn't care, you know what I mean? So not really, but like that little thing. But that is kind of annoying because they obviously think in their head that you're going to be like really attracted to them or something, or want to sleep with them, or I don't even know. But that is bizarre because like your friends are in a box and they stay in that box, and then the other people are over here, you know, like the ones we want to like date and like maybe kiss and maybe be intimate with, but you know, the friends are over there. Okay, we don't want to sleep with you, we don't want to kiss you. Just because we see your boobs doesn't mean we're more we're attracted to you now. Like, it doesn't mean we now fancy that or Sophia, okay? So somebody said, is there a difference between just saying you'd kiss a girl and being bi? Okay, so I would say there is a difference, but this is just my opinion now, completely my opinion, so don't take anything from this if you don't want to. So I would say there is a difference because I would say, in my opinion, I would say 80% of girls would kiss a girl. Like, majority of girls that I know have kissed a girl, whether it be a drunken kiss, just kissing their best friend, saying goodbye, hello, like whatever it is. Most girls would kiss a girl and don't think anything of it because it's not a big deal, you know what I mean? But I would say it is very different to being bisexual. I would say being bisexual would more so be if you have been intimate with a girl, if you've dated girls, if you have had a relationship. But then referring back to what I said, there are so many like gay men who identify as being gay but have never been intimate with a man. So whatever you would like to identify as and you feel is right for yourself, you do that, and don't let anyone make you feel like your identity is invalid. Somebody said, do you think age gaps matter more with a girl or a boy, or both the same? I love this question. Okay, so I definitely do think they matter more with one. So I think age gaps matter more with guys than girls, and just let me explain what I mean by this. So I would happily date a girl that was anywhere, I'd say from like 18 up. So I'm 20, so that means she would be 2 years younger than me. I would happily, no problem, date a girl that was any age from 18 or older. Whereas with guys, I would not date somebody younger than me. No chance. Like, I physically couldn't do it. And I would be quite reluctant to date a guy that was my age as well, like 20, even 21. Like, I would be quite reluctant now, unless I really did like him and I felt we had something. Of course I would give it a go, like, of course. But I mean in general, like, my preference. And the reason I say this is because it has been scientifically proven that guys mature at a lot of a lesser rate than girls do. So basically it's been scientifically proven, just say I'm 20, that if there is a guy I'm dating who's 23 or 24, then we are only then of the same maturity level. So if I'm 20 and I'm dating a guy who's 21, he is actually like a lot less immature than I am. And that has been like proven, like so many studies have been done to prove this. And I have noticed it as well in my own experience. As I said, I have had quite a few experiences dating guys, and I've noticed this so much. Like, if I'm dating a guy who's a little bit younger, my age, or a tiny bit older, like 1 year even older, that they're so immature. Like, I noticed it really early on. So that is the reason I say I don't mind dating a girl younger or my age, because they are of like the same maturity level, whereas guys are a lot less immature. So I would prefer dating an older guy. So somebody said, do you find that you prefer women or men romantically and sexually? And I really like this question. So I've never like had romantic experiences with a woman. As I said, I've never properly dated a woman, so I haven't had proper romantic experiences with with a woman. So I can't really answer the romantically part because I haven't had experience with a woman. But on the sexual part, that is a really hard question, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. The reason that is a hard question is because both experiences are so different, like so different. So the two experiences are so different, like you honestly could not compare one to the other. Like they're so different and you get such a different fulfillment out of both of them, I feel anyways. Like I feel like being intimate with a girl, now obviously these are people that you're not in a relationship with, that they're a lot more interested in finding out what you like and doing that, and like they're a lot more bothered about you than they are themselves. Whereas I find my experience being intimate with guys is that they're very selfish. Now I don't want to label them all as being selfish because of course not, but more times than others they are, and they are more interested in themselves and what is working for them than what is working for you and what you like and things like that. That's just my experience. But both of them are so different and I honestly couldn't pick one over the other. Like I love them both. Like they're both so enjoyable in their own different ways, if you know what I mean. Okay, so someone said how to tell if a girl is flirting with you. Okay, if any of you guys have an answer to this question, like please leave it down below, because girl, I don't know. I can't tell if a girl is flirting with me. I just can't. Like, I'm very bad at it. I'm very bad at telling when people in general are flirting with me, so guys included, so let alone girls, because, you know, girls are a lot more subtle in their ways than guys would be, especially with another girl. So I couldn't even tell you. Like, I wish I knew, but like, if you know, please let me know down below, because I haven't got a notion. Like, I'm so bad at that whole flirting game. Like, not bad at flirting, but bad at knowing when other people are flirting with me. I always pass it off as they're just being nice, because I think I remember one time where I did think someone was flirting with me and I said something or something and they actually weren't. So I think maybe that's why like I kind of don't really look into it and kind of always pass it off as they're being nice, because I can never tell. So somebody said I'd like to know how you deal with girl crushes versus boy crushes. Okay, well, crushes are called crushes because they crush your fucking soul, man. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna assume you mean like real life crushes. Girl crushes I don't really deal with. I just let them sit there and crush my soul, because I don't know how to approach girls. As I said, there are so few girls who are bisexual or gay in Ireland, so you know, a lot of girls I presume are straight because, you know, they have never said otherwise, and, you know, I would never be the kind of person who would be extremely forward, you know what I mean? I've never ever been the kind of a person to approach somebody first. I just have a lot of anxiety around that area of things. And the same with boy crushes as well, to be honest. I don't approach boys. Again, I just have never been able to approach people. I find it very hard. I get very anxious and I just have a real fear of rejection. So yeah, I just let them crush my soul. I just lie in bed and I'm like, oh, I'm dying, like, ow, the pain, oh, I like you a lot, ow. When you first realised that you were bisexual, was your first instinct to worry about how others would react when they found out? Yes, that was a huge worry of mine. I remember, like, from the first time I was intimate with a girl, I don't think I actually, like, came out to my sister or my parents for nearly up to a year after that, because I was very, kind of like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I just thought I would be judged a lot more than I was. I thought people were going to be a lot nastier than they were. Especially, I thought I'd lose my friends. I genuinely thought I'd lose all my friends. I thought my friends would think I was weird. Thought my friends would think I wanted to go out with them then. And things like that. A lot of the worries you guys had. But it turned out to be the complete opposite to that. And trust me, oh my god, it was the best feeling ever once I'd said it. And everyone knows. Like, when I put up that video on YouTube, my sexuality, that was the most head-wrecking thing I ever done. Because a lot of people in my life still didn't know. So that was kind of me, like, coming out to everybody. So yeah, it was really hard, but once you've done it, like, oh, it's like a huge weight has been lifted off your shoulders and you just feel like you can breathe and like just be you, do you, for you, like, yes. Okay guys, so that is the end of my answering your bisexuality questions. If you guys would like a part 2 to this, definitely let me know down below, and also give this video a thumbs up so I know, because I could definitely do that. I really want to start doing more videos about bisexuality and being bisexual, because I feel like it is very important to like talk about these things, raise awareness and make these things more of a normal subject to talk about. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Bye!